Welcome back to our continuation of creating a program using the C programming language to create a streaming software. Let's take a look at some of the code that we have so far. As you may have seen in the previous video of setting everything up, I have the source files listed in this SRC or source directory. So the files we're going to look at today are going to be just briefly looking at the rmtp out.h and the test main.c. The test main.c is just an overall encompassing as I start adding in each of these other features. So let's take a look at that one first. So if you look here, it is fairly simple. It includes that rmtp out.h file, the keys.h file, which is the stream key, which defines over here this my stream key definition. And here I have it printing out this buff, which I'm going to comment that out for now. We don't need it. Yeah, and same thing with printing. This was all, again, using testing to see what's coming in to make. I wanted to make sure that the URL was formatted correctly in the final buffer. And some other options I was using between open and fopen. If you look here, I'm opening up this temp pipe file, which is a FIFO pipe. And that and the buffer are going into this function that I created called send rtmp stream 2. So we'll go ahead and save that and take a look at the rmtp.out.h. So right now I have both the prototype and the definition and the code for each of these functions, or I think it's only one function I have in here. Yeah, it's only one function I have in here, this send rmtp out to.stream, and eventually I'm going to separate this out into an rtmp.c file, or rmtp out.c, and I'm just calling it my rmtp in the header definition because there is already an rtmp header file that we are declaring from the librtmp library. So I've been playing around with the buffer size. I've gone from trying to do for 512 kilobytes to 400 kilobytes. Anything lower was giving me a seg fault, because what it's doing is it's taking that information in from that FIFO pipe and sending it in this while loop to this rtmp. I'm going to keep saying that wrong this whole video. This rtmp write function, which takes in the rtmp data type, the buffer, and nread. And this nread is just a size element when it reads from the buffer. And it keeps doing that until it ends. I was testing to see how many blocks were sent in each before I was getting the seg fault. Not that great with debugging tools like GDB, and this was causing a seg fault inside the library somewhere, so I was trying to figure out exactly where it was doing and then closing it out. So the issue that I'm having with it is the way it's buffering. And let's go take a look at what we can do to try to figure out that buffering. And part of it is the FIFO pipe, how data is flowing through it. I came across this command, this pv command, this pipe view. Let's go ahead and install that and see how that works out. It's showing the installation instructions as apt-get install pv. The version of Debian I use just uses apt and doesn't use the -get. I believe that's somewhat deprecated. So let's see what that is. Let's show it. It's just pv, and it's version 1.6.20-1. That's the maintainer. It seems like a relatively small program. It uses libc, so the download size should be small, so this should just take a few seconds. So let's go ahead and install it. Took a little longer than I thought, but okay. So let's see. Looked like it was installing a man page, so let's just see if it had what the man page says. So it's just options and file. Want to send the file through net. I'm not really sure what that's all about. So let's take a look at some of the options that we have. You can view a progress bar, timer, ETA, ETA fine, rate. That I believe is what we are looking at, or average rate. I'm going to try rate. So here is the temp pipe. Okay, and let's open up a new window and let's just send something through it. Let's send this wifi-merge file into temp pipe. And that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's do some tests. So we're going to take this wifi-merge.avi. It's one of the videos I have done earlier. And let's send that to the pipe. And then we're going to have to clear the pipe. So we'll go over here and clear it to a temporary file. And it sent 344 megabytes per second. And if we look at the other end, 350 megabits per second. So now let's see what happens if we send it to someplace other than this pipe. Let's send it to dev null. And that's sending it a lot faster. So the pipe itself is giving an issue. So let's try to open that up to receive it and run this again. Oops, send it to the pipe. And still about 300 something megabits per second. That could be the writing to this file too. So let's send this to dev null. And that's a lot quicker. So the issue is not the pipe. The pipe is handling everything correctly. So now the issue is what to do with it, sending it through RTMP, which we'll cover in the next video as we go through this and we do some more testing. Just wanted to show this pipe view command, and I'm going to go through and figure out what other commands I can use for this. -A, yeah, still 2.6 gigabits per second, which is more than enough for this. So we're going to go and play around with that. Go ahead and subscribe to take a look at that. And thank you for watching. You have a great day.